What's up, guys, and welcome back. Today we are on what you probably don't know that I did purchase was the Ibex from CFMOTO, the 800T, which in other countries is also called an 800MT, I guess is the name that they're using for it. But either way, it's the same motorcycle, just a different name depending on the country you live in. But I've had it for about just over 30 days now. I've got like 3,500 miles on it. I have just been blasting through this, and honestly, my first impressions of it, they've been fantastic. There are definitely some negatives about the motorcycle. As we go through this, I will tell you like the things that I dislike about it, or what are maybe annoying about it, but yet none of it really makes it like that bad enough to me to not really enjoy this motorcycle. To start with, like, the riding experience now, after a month of riding this thing is just slaughtered with so many amenities, like this quick shifter slash auto blipper that is absolutely fantastic. That mainly comes because we have a drive-by-wire system, which is freaking awesome. That allows us to have cruise control, the quick shifter auto blipper. It just makes this motorcycle experience in the day-to-day drive freaking awesome. And then of course, like, the things like having heated grips, that's like so freaking nice, guys. I've never had heated grips on a motorcycle before. I had no idea what I was missing until I've had them. And the seat, having the heated seat as well, is pretty freaking awesome. And then of course, I also wired in my own heated jacket because I have a heated jacket. So like when I like gear up in my gear, I can ride easily in the 20s on this thing, and it's freaking awesome. Plus, it also comes with the center stand and the luggage racks. No luggage, but you do have the luggage racks. You already have the center stand, and there's so much you could do with all that. Like, I'll show you guys the bags I have on this thing right now. These are just cheapos that I put on from Harbor Freight. These little inexpensive kind of side boxes, and they just mounted right on there. It was really freaking easy to do. And then of course I went and I put this back here. I got it from Amazon. It was like 90 bucks, this little top box, lockable. Love it, absolutely love it. And I'll link that down below if you want to check it out. It is, I've put it on like 3 different motorcycles. I had it on my Aprilia for a while. I had it on the Kawasaki 650 KLR, and now it's on this bike. So like, I just keep bouncing from bike to bike. I absolutely love it. Easily holds a helmet, my jacket, my gloves, a lunch, all kinds of fun stuff. But that is totally worth having as well. I think there's a little bit of dirt on this road. We're gonna find out. Oh, and another big amenity would be the TPMS sensors, so you know how much tire pressure is in the front and rear tire, which I think is pretty cool. It is annoying because it's in bar and not PSI, and I don't know how to change that, but whatever. It lets you know when your tires are low, and you could go ahead and fill them up. Pretty freaking cool. As for the engine and the performance of this engine, as you guys know, it does say CFMOTO on the side. CFMOTO actually makes these engines for KTM, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and get past this lady as we go sliding into the dirt. Oh yeah, there we go. Pavement does end. It's just a gravel road, whatever. Yeah, she get a little squirrely. Alright, but so the engine in this motorcycle is a KTM, basically a 790, which is freaking awesome. I don't know if you've rode any of the KTMs, but it is, yeah, a parallel twin, but it has that 270 crank, so it sounds really nice, and it also has just such like this unique like kind of feel to it. It's very engaging for an engine. Like it's just really interesting to listen to. I like the intake sound of it. The exhaust, I haven't done anything to the exhaust, just the stock sound is fine. The exhaust is a little muffled, but that intake sound is fantastic, and you can tell with that 270 crank you get that nice little roar. And if you were to drop a can on this thing, I could only imagine like my R7 or the Aprilia, they just sound freaking awesome with that 270 crank. So like, we know we're getting a solid engine with this motorcycle. So far the transmission, the shifting have been awesome. So like, for the most part, like, it seems like, well, yeah, it's a cheap Chinese motorcycle chucked together with a bunch of different components from a bunch of different manufacturers. And let me tell you, so far everything is pretty damn nice on this thing. The only thing that scares me a little bit would be the screen, because I've never seen that screen on any motorcycle anywhere. So like, maybe getting one if you had issues with it might be a little difficult. or kind of maybe having to repair it or something like that might kind of suck. That would be the only thing so far. I've looked at the motorcycle and thought, oh, I haven't seen that part before, or I don't know how we would get another one. God, she just sounds so good. You know, for being a twin motorcycle, that quick shifter auto blipper, it works really, really well. I think that's worth pointing out, that it is very nice to use this quick shifter and auto blipper. So as for ergonomics, like this rear seat, the rear seat, the passenger seat, because I have had my wife on this bike with me, and we've gone maybe a couple hour little trip one day, and both of us absolutely no problems. I ride this thing to and from work every day, and it is approximately 45 minutes one way. So on any other motorcycle, I usually, you know, your butt starts feeling a little sore from the seat. Mine does not on this seat. This seat is nice, it's squishy, it's still somewhat firm, it's not like you're falling into it. And then most importantly to me is the like lower backrest from the rear seat that you get. It's really, really nice how your butt just kind of cushions up against that little backrest. It goes up just enough to kind of hit the lower part of your spine, and it just feels comfortable to sit back like this and cruise. To me, the seat on this motorcycle, absolutely perfect. I see no reason to potentially get a different one. I'm liking it as is. And of course, I wouldn't want to mess with any of the heated seats anyway. I'm just happy that it came where it was nice and comfortable to ride. So the ergonomics, upright just enough. Decent for standing up. Like if you're going to ride it off-road a lot, I would say the handlebars would have to come up a little bit. But ultimately, for me, like, I'm not really going to ride this thing off-road all that much. That's not really kind of like my plan with it. It's mainly just been my commuter. So like, as for taking it off-road and as for taking it off-road, like, if I got better tires, because it comes with 9010s, I would probably get out there and have a little bit of fun with it. But ultimately, like, I just don't go off-road very often, and I think that it's cool that this bike could do it if I needed it to, and if I wanted it to. I just would want a little bit better tires than what it comes with stock, and I probably will do that for the next iteration of tires, because I do want to get out and do some kind of little adventures with this thing. Because I've already got, with these boxes, I've already got all the tents and sleeping bags and cooking gear. Like, it's all decked out and ready to go right now. Like, I want to go on a little adventure. But I really, with these soft tires, like even that dirt gravel road we just rode, that alone, I can feel these tires moving around pretty good. So, meh, I definitely wouldn't mind, you know, maybe like a 70/30 tire, or I really liked the tires that came around the Tenor A700. I think I would go with those. But that's pretty much ergonomics and how I'm feeling about the bike so far. To get on to probably the more important thing, which would be kind of maintenance and taking care of the motorcycle. Obviously, it comes with that rear stand, which is so cool. It's gonna be so much easier to get the front and rear tire off of this motorcycle, to buy new tires, to do any form of like maintenance with the shafts, the chains, anything is going to be so much easier, because now that we have that. When it came to doing the oil change for this thing, obviously we got 3500, so I already did the first oil change / service for it, and the oil change was very, very easy to do on this motorcycle. The resetting of the maintenance light, you kind of, there's a bunch of things you gotta do it, but you can do it yourself. You don't need to take this thing in to get it done. For the next oil change, I will show you guys all of that and make a oil change video on this motorcycle. My intent is really just to kind of give you guys, you know, some updates on this motorcycle as I go through the life of it, because it isn't really like, obviously, like the main piece of my channel, the main content that I like to do, but it is my main motorcycle that I ride every single day. So as for the obvious negatives, everything has some negatives to it. The first one that I noticed that annoyed me the most is going to be like on the freeway, setting your cruise control. Not a hard thing to do, it's pretty easy, but it is very laggy. So like if you set your cruise control at 75 miles an hour and you slowed down and you went and hit resume, like it's like 10 seconds before it figures out that you want to resume and you want to go back to the same speed you were at, and it just takes too long. It's awkwardly weird. But I mean, that's a pretty small complaint, right? The other complaint with cruise control is it will not go past 80 miles an hour. So if you set your cruise control at 80 miles an hour and you went to 85 and you went, oh, I'm going too fast, I'm just going to hit my cruise control resume button and it'll take me back to 80 and I'll be fine. Nope. You can't even turn cruise control back on if you're going faster than 80 miles an hour. It's like it shuts out cruise control entirely. It's very annoying. Not to say that we need to be cruising at 80 miles an hour down the freeway, but I also don't want my motorcycle to tell me I can't. If I want to cruise at 85-90 and get my ticket, that's my choice, not my motorcycle's. I would think, I would hope, I don't know what you guys think. But the third negative for cruise control is it never goes that actual speed. So it maxes out at 80 miles an hour. You can set it at 80 and the bike will not go past 78 miles per hour. It just hangs out there at 78 miles an hour. It's freaking annoying. Another annoyance for me when it comes to the cruise control. So there's 3 annoying things to me about cruise control. Laggy, won't go past 80, and won't even go to the actual mile per hour you set at. It's always 2 to 3 miles an hour slower than what you set it at. Just kind of annoying. I know those are very small complaints, especially when most motorcycles don't have cruise control, and this thing having cruise control is freaking awesome. I love it. I just am sharing my annoyances with you guys. So the next biggest annoyance about this motorcycle is turning on your heated grips and your heated seats. It is very, very frustrating. You've got enough buttons to do everything and to do more than it should do, in my opinion. But either way, if you wanted to turn on your heated grips while you're riding, it's not necessarily the safest thing in the world to do. You actually have to push the set button and wait. It'll come in and show you all the main things about the motorcycle, like your TPMS and all your miles till empty on your fuel tank and all this kind of fun jazz. There's so much information in here, it's awesome. But then you got to come and hold up for 3 seconds on this up arrow, and it'll shift it from one series of settings to another series of settings to another series of settings. So every 3 seconds will bump you into a different series of settings. So the first one up for 3 seconds will get you to this setting, which will allow you to shift up and down this up and down arrow to which one you want, and then you could go and select that one, and you can turn your heated grips up or down as you see fit with the up and down arrow. And then you have to back out. Now you can go for your seat heater and then change that and back out. Now you're back to the normal menu. That is a long process with a bunch of button pushes and weird series of button pushes of pushing the button, holding it for 3 seconds, up and down arrows, selecting, adjusting, backing out, down arrows again, going back in, adjusting, back out, and you're back to the freaking menu. It's like, holy crap, what do I need to do all this for? I just wanted to turn on a heated grip. Why don't we just have a button that says heated grip? The last and final thing that I'll say is I want to say it's annoying, but I've already really forgot about it. It was more like when I first bought the bike, it was noticeable, but as I ride it around day to day, it doesn't really bother me anymore. But it is the sometimes lag in the throttle. It's like the drive-by-wire is just not perfect in this system to where you can tell it's a drive-by-wire motorcycle versus a drive-by physical metal wire motorcycle. If you guys know what I'm talking about. Drive-by-wire, they call it that because it's electronic wires. It's just a sensor in the throttle that is sending a signal to the throttle body to move it, versus steel wires that are physically moving the throttle body as you twist the throttle. So it's not the best drive-by-wire system at all. But one thing I will say that is very cool is it is the same componentry that is used on BMWs. So while I was in Germany riding that BMW GS750, I really enjoyed these controls that were on the motorcycle. I liked them a lot, and when I got home and bought this, I looked at them and thought, holy crap, I had to go back and watch my videos. They're the same exact controls that BMW are using. So wherever they're buying them from, that's what they are. So far, like I said, almost every single thing I've found on this motorcycle None of it is, like, I'd say the biggest worry, right, is how do I buy, you know, replacement parts for this motorcycle? I'm sure it's going to be kind of annoying, but they are common stock parts for other motorcycles, and they're not cheap shit. It's not cheap, tacky crap. So I'd say the most notable thing when I first did my initial test ride on this motorcycle, and I will link that up here for you guys to watch if you want to watch my first impressions of this thing before I had bought it. That same day I had also rode the 650 Adventura. That motorcycle, it felt like its price point. It was cheap, it was tacky, and I did not like it. When I rode this thing, it feels nothing like its price point. At $10,400, and I actually got this $1,000 off at $9,300, I think. At that price point, this motorcycle is way better than expected, which is worth noting for sure. So I hope this information was useful for you guys. I absolutely love this thing, and I'm going to continue to ride the hell out of it. This is my daily rider. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye!